ever read a play and thought, okay, I get the gist. You know, the story's there, you can sort of picture it,
hmm
but then you see it staged, and wow. It's like the words just explode off the page, where the
And
characters feel real,
yeah,
alive.
it's a totally different experience.
And if you're someone who wants to, like, really get things, not just know about them, well, you're definitely in the right place for this deep dive.
That's really the magic of theater, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at performance texts, basically the scripts.
Right.
But thinking of them as blueprints for a live event, we're using insights from understanding performance text in context to get past just reading dialogue
Okay.
and uncover those key things that make a play really work, that make it feel electric for an audience. Our mission here is to give you a solid grasp of how theater does its unique thing.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
this magic toolkit, let's start with a big one, Aristotle. Turns out way back when, he figured out these 6 key principles for drama.
That's right.
6 sounds like a lot, but they actually give you a really good handle on it all. We're talking plot, character, thought, diction, music, and spectacle.
Exactly. And Aristotle's framework, well, it's lasted because it really nails what makes the play tick. Plot, for him, is the engine, you know?
The sequence of events.
Yeah, what drives the story. Character, obviously, is the people in the story, who they are, what they do.
Makes sense.
Thought digs into the main ideas, the themes the playwright wants us to think about. Diction, that's the language itself, the words chosen, how they're spoken.
Okay.
Music. Well, it's broader than just songs. It's about the rhythm, the soundscape of the whole performance.
Ah, I see, like the flow of the language itself.
That's a part of it, definitely.
Yeah.
And finally, spectacle, that's everything visual, sets, costumes, lighting, all the stuff you see.
It's interesting how they all connect when you lay them out like that. You
Yeah.
can't really separate them, can you? A story needs characters doing things.
Right.
And what they say, the diction, and what we see, the spectacle, that shapes the ideas, the thought. I admit, thinking of language rhythm as music is kind of new.
Yeah.
But yeah, it clicks.
And they're totally interwoven. It's not just a list. The language a character uses tells you about them, pushes the plot, highlights the themes.
Right.
But before we dive deep into each one, the text we're looking at really stresses a crucial first step.
Which is?
Understanding the world around the play first.
Ah, okay. Stage 1. Reading the play in context. That really hit home for me. It's like you wouldn't try to understand a conversation just by hearing the last sentence.
Exactly. You need the backstory. You can't just jump into the dialogue cold. You need to think about who wrote it, when they wrote it, what was going on in their world,
Yeah.
the playwright's own life, their inspirations, that stuff matters. And maybe even more critical is the atmosphere of the time they were writing in,
Well-
socially, politically, religiously.
All of that.
All of it. Because even if the play's set, I don't know, in ancient Rome or some fantasy land, it's often reflecting the concerns and the power dynamics of the writer's own society.
That makes sense. The book lists these key contexts: social, political, historical, religious, economic, artistic, and theatrical. It feels like a lot.
It tends to seem like it.
But it's logical. Like, if a play is about inequality, knowing the economic situation back then gives you way more insight into why characters act the way they do.
Precisely. Or if religion is central, you need to know the dominant beliefs of that era to really get the play's impact, or maybe even its controversies.
So these contexts aren't just trivia. They actually shape the meaning.
Absolutely. Think about Elizabethan theater. Knowing they didn't have fancy sets helps you appreciate how Shakespeare used language to paint those pictures for the audience.
Right, the words had to do the heavy lifting visually.
Exactly. Or knowing about censorship in a certain period might explain why a critique is maybe hidden in an allegory or symbol.
Okay, that context part is huge. And then we get these reading tips, seen plus unseen, which are really practical, like reading aloud.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I don't do it often, but it makes so much sense for catching the mood, the emotion, maybe even the rhythm you were talking about.
It really does. Reading aloud forces a different kind of engagement. You feel the words, the pauses from punctuation, the emotional shifts hiding in the language, and the advice to read with energy, with confidence. That's good too. It keeps the momentum going, stops you getting stuck on every little thing first time through.
Yeah, the tip about not getting bogged down by unfamiliar words was a relief. It's so easy to hit a weird word and just stop.
Right, lose the flow of the scene.
And obviously, using your imagination.
Yeah.
Visualizing the action, the atmosphere, because you're trying to see it as theater, not just text.
Which leads us perfectly into stage 2, going deeper into those principles of drama. Let's start with plot. The text mentions that classic structure, beginning, middle, end.
The basic shape.
Or more specifically, exposition setting things up, complications leading to a climax, the messy, tense middle bit, and then resolution tying things up.
Right. The setup, the rising action, the peak, and the aftermath.
Yeah.
And what drives it all? Conflict.
Conflict is the absolute core. It's what makes drama dramatic. The text points out a few key types: man versus himself,
Inner struggles.
man versus man,
People clashing.
man versus society,
Against the rules or the community.
and man versus fate, or maybe nature or forces beyond control. You see these patterns everywhere, not just plays.
Totally. They feel universal.
Okay.
Okay, so after plot, we have character. And the book says something important here. Characters aren't just people, they're also vehicles for ideas.
Exactly. It's not just who they are, but what they represent, the questions they make us ask.
How do we analyze them?
Well, you look at them from different angles. Their physical side, age, movement, costume.
What they look like, how they carry themselves.
Then their social side, job, money, religion, relationship.
Their place in the world.
Then psychological. What do they want? What motivates them? What stops them internally?
Their inner life.
And finally, moral. Their values. Are they honest? What choices do they make under pressure?
It's like building a profile. Each layer adds depth.
Okay, and then there's diction, the language. It's not just what they say.
But how they say it.
The dialogue tells you so much. Their class, maybe education, their emotional state. Who has power in the conversation?
Wow, yeah.
And it also moves the plot along, obviously, and subtly hints at the play's themes. The text notes language can range from super realistic, like everyday chat, to very poetic or stylized, and every word choice is deliberate by the playwright.
Which connects nicely to themes, the big ideas simmering underneath. The book says universal themes often give plays lasting power. Love, loss, justice.
Revenge, power, identity, all that fundamental human stuff.
Yeah.
These are the questions about life that playwrights explore.
Makes sense.
And wrapping up stage 2, we have theater conventions. Basically the rules or style of a particular play. This helps us think about genre. Like tragedy, comedy, farce, melodrama.
Exactly. Knowing the genre sets up certain expectations.
Yeah.
Tragedy. Usually serious, emotional, often a bad end for the hero.
Right. Sad.
Comedy. Lighter, aims to amuse but can still make you think. Farce. Way over the top. Physical humor, pure laughs.
Slapstick almost.
Kind of. And melodrama.
Yeah.
Very emotional, clear good guys and bad guys, usually a happy, satisfying ending.
Like knowing if you're walking into an action movie versus a romance, it frames how you watch it.
That's a good analogy. Understanding the conventions helps you appreciate how the play works within its style. Okay, so that leads us to stage 3, the visual and oral world.
Yes. This is where it really starts to feel like a performance in your head. Set design, the decor. The book distinguishes between realistic sets
Trying to look like a real place.
and theatrical sets, more suggestive using fewer pieces.
Right. Maybe just a chair and a window frame suggest a whole room. Both work. Realistic sets ground it, make it feel authentic.
Theatrical sets can be more symbolic, focusing your attention differently, maybe on the characters or ideas.
Then props. They're stage props, like big furniture.
Set dressing.
And personal props. Stuff actors actually handle. And even a tiny prop can say a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Think about a character constantly fiddling with a locket, or someone leaning heavily on a cane. Those details add layers to who they are or what's happening.
For sure. And then costume. Huge visual cue.
Instantly tells you so much. Age, job, status, the time period. It's visual shorthand for the audience.
Yeah, you see a uniform, soldier or nurse. You see rags, you think poverty.
Exactly. And the text mentions sometimes costumes are deliberately neutral, maybe for artistic reasons, to make it feel universal.
Or maybe just budget.
Or budget, sure. But even that choice sends a message. And then we have lighting and sound. So crucial.
Oh, yeah. Lighting totally shifts the mood, tells you where to look.
Focuses attention, creates atmosphere shadows for mystery, bright light for exposure.
And sound effects.
Yeah.
A door, slamming, distant music, rain.
Well,
It builds the world.
creates atmosphere, enhances realism, maybe signals danger.
Yeah.
These things create the whole sensory experience.
Right.
And finally, the text brings up symbolism, how directors use visual things, colors, specific objects, even size and scale on stage to hint at deeper meanings, stuff not said out loud.
Like a recurring color meaning something specific. Red for danger or passion.
Could be. Or maybe a single dead tree on stage symbolizes decay or hopelessness. It's that visual language working alongside the words.
Okay.
So when you pull all this together, Aristotle's basics, the context, plot, character, language, themes, conventions, and then all the visual and sound elements, you see that a script, a performance text, is way more than words.
It really is. It's a blueprint for this incredibly complex, multi-layered thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess the big takeaway here is to really get a play, reading it or watching it, you have to think about all these interconnected pieces. It's not just following the story. It's understanding how that story comes alive through language, character, design, sound, all within its original world.
Precisely. Engaging with all those elements gives you such a richer, deeper appreciation of what drama can do.
So for you listening, think about a play you know. Maybe one you love, maybe one that left you cold on the page. How do all these things we talked about, plot, character, spectacle, context, how do they work together in that play? What new layers might you see thinking about it this way? Definitely give me a new lens to look through.